Okay, call the meeting to order, please. Can I have a mover and a seconder to call the meeting? Councillor Cabral, Councillor Ritchie. That this public meeting of council held under section 17, 21, and 34. Special meeting of the Council of Township of Springwater, September 23rd, 2019, come to order at 6:30 p.m. All those in favor? Carried. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest on tonight's matters? Okay. Okay, now we'll call to order. May I mover and a seconder to call a public meeting to order? Councillor Ritchie and Councillor Cabral. That this public meeting of council held under section 17, 21, and 34 of the Planning Act for ZB 219-008 by Rudy Taylor of Heacock and Associates on behalf of J and M Hummelink, ZB 219-009 by Scott Fitzgerald on behalf of S&C Wysotsky, and official plan amendment initiated by the Township of Springwater be called to order at 6:31 p.m. All those in favor? Carried. Welcome to this public meeting of the Springwater Township Council held in compliance with sections 17, 21, and 34 of the Planning Act to give the public an opportunity to express their views in regard to a proposed set of amendments to the Township of Springwater official plan and zoning bylaw 5000 as amended. The first part of this meeting is to present the amendments. Following that, an opportunity will be given to enable those who have any comments, concerns, or inquiries with regard to this proposal to make their views known to council. In addition to any comments made at this meeting, written presentations would also be welcomed by the council. If a person or a public body who files an appeal of a decision of the Township of Springwater in respect of a proposed official plan and or zoning bylaw amendment does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or written submissions to the Township of Springwater before the proposed official plan amendment is adopted and zoning bylaw amendments are passed, the local planning appeal tribunal may dismiss all or part of the appeal. Any persons who wish to speak should first give their name and address. All comments or questions should be addressed through the chair. Oral submissions will form part of the public meeting minutes record, including the name and address of the speaker as information collected under the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, and the minutes of the meetings will be posted on the Township website. First matter we're dealing with is ZB 2019-008 by Rudy Taylor of Heacock and Associates on behalf of Jeremiah and Matthew Hummelink at 1158 Floss Road 7 West. I'll now call upon the clerk to confirm notice of this meeting and the dates on which notice was given.
Notice of this public meeting was mailed on the 30th day of August 2019 to the owner of the subject lands and to the assessed owners of 11 properties in the Township of Springwater within 240 meters of the area to which the proposed amendment would apply, and to all persons and public bodies as prescribed under the Planning Act and its regulations. Notice was also posted at the assessed property to which the proposed amendment applies at a location that was visible from Floss Road 7 West. The notice was also placed on the Township website.
Has the Planning Department received any correspondence in response to the notice of the public meeting?
Correspondence was received from Enbridge Gas, and copies of the correspondence can be found in the agenda package.
I'll now call upon Brianna Belcourt, Township Junior Planner, to give a brief explanation of the purpose and effect of the proposal.
Thank you, Your Worship. Zoning bylaw amendment application ZB 2019-008 by Heacock and Associates on behalf of the Hummelinks for land municipally known as 1158 Floss Road 7 West has been submitted to rezone the lands to the agricultural consolidation exception zone. The purpose of the amendment is to prohibit residential uses on the retained farmland and ensure that any keeping of livestock in the existing agricultural buildings shall be subject to minimum distance separation requirements. The application is a result of a condition for consent approval being B29/18 for a surplus farm dwelling severance. Staff is recommending approval of this application, subject to comments received during tonight's public meeting, as outlined in the recommendation report provided.
Thank you. I'll now call upon any members of the public wishing to ask questions or make comments regarding this application. Please come to the microphone at the front and state your name and address.
Hi, I'm Rudy Taylor. I'm counsel for the Hummelings.
Yes, can you have a seat there and just speak
Sure.
again into the mic? Thanks.
So I'm Rudy Taylor, counsel for the Hummelings.
Thank you.
So again, this was condition number 4 that had to be met. So we're asking that it be approved.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments from the public? Do any members of council have questions or comments regarding this application? Okay, thank you for attending the public meeting with respect to the proposed zoning bylaw amendment and showing an interest in this matter. The next matter we're dealing with is ZB 219-009 by Scott Fitzgerald on behalf of Sasha and Claudia Wysotsky at 1419 Henry Road. I'll now call upon the clerk to confirm notice of this meeting and the dates on which notice was given.
Notice of this public meeting was mailed on the 30th day of August 2019 to the owner of the subject lands and to the assessed owners of 9 properties in the township of Springwater within 240 meters of the area to which the proposed amendment would apply, and to all persons and public bodies as prescribed under the Planning Act and its regulations. Notice was also posted at the assessed property to which the proposed amendment applies at a location that was visible from Hendry Road. The notice was also placed on the township's website.
And has the planning department received any correspondence in response of the notice of the public meeting?
Correspondence has been received from Enbridge Gas, and copies of the correspondence can be found in the agenda package.
I'll now call upon Deborah Ann Lisk, Township Planner, to give a brief explanation of the purpose and effect of this proposal.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. Application 2019-009 is an application to amend the zoning of 1419 Hendry Road to permit an accessory living accommodation, a second unit. The unit will be located in addition to the existing house above the attached garage. The applicant is proposing to service the unit with a new private septic system in connection to the existing well located on the property. At this time, staff have not provided a recommendation report, as comments have been submitted by the township's building department regarding the proposed new septic system. A recommendation report will follow at a later council meeting once the building department is satisfied. Those are my comments right now. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now call upon any members of the public wishing to ask questions or make comments regarding this application to come forward to the microphone, state your name and address, and feel free to pose your point. Okay, there doesn't seem to be anybody coming forward. Do any members of council have questions or comments regarding this application? Okay, thank you for attending the public meeting with respect to the proposed zoning bylaw amendment and showing an interest in this matter. The next matter is the official plan amendment, pre-consultation process initiated by the Township of Springwater with respect to lands within the entire geographic area of the Township of Springwater. I will now call upon the clerk to confirm notice of this meeting and the dates on which notice was given.
Notice of this public meeting was provided on the 30th day of August 2019 to all persons and public bodies as prescribed under the Planning Act and its regulations. The notice was also placed on the township's website and was placed in the Township Springwater newspaper.
And has the planning department received any correspondence as a result of the notice of the public meeting?
Correspondence was received from Enbridge Gas, and copies of the correspondence can be found in the agenda package.
Thank you. I'll now call upon Chris Russell, Township Senior Planner, to give a brief explanation of the purpose and effect of this proposal.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. Over the past year, the township has implemented a pre-consultation process designed to streamline and improve the quality of applications that the township receives. When township staff are able to meet with applicants prior to applications being received, it assists in defining the appropriate hurdles early on and assists with helping to answer the right questions. There have been a few examples where where applications have simply been mailed into the township with no prior discussion with township staff over the past. And some of those applications have stalled, as applicants try to answer initial comments. So there is a benefit to meeting with staff early on in the process, and we do encourage it. Given the province's recent changes to reduce the review times afforded to municipalities as part of an application, or before an appeal can be launched, staff consider that the streamlining of everything, the streamlining of the review process to be beneficial. At this time, township staff are seeking to formalize the requirement for applicants to meet with staff by amending the official plan with the draft text found in Appendix A to the staff report. The amendment would ensure that as part of a complete application, applicants for complicated or substantial Planning Act applications would be required to discuss the project with staff first. The amendment allows for transactional or simplified applications such as minor variances, consents, rezonings as a condition of consent to bypass the pre-consultation process at the discretion of the Director of Planning. Tonight we're asking for any comments from the public or council related to Appendix A of the staff report and the draft text of the amendment. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer your staff are happy to answer your questions.
Thank you. I will now call upon any members of the public wishing to ask questions or make comments regarding this application. Please come forward to the microphone, state your name and address. Okay, I'll turn to council now. Any member of council have questions or comments? Councilor Ritchie?
Thank you, Mayor Allen. You put in your remarks that at the discretion of the Director of Planning. I'd like to include at the discretion of the Director of Planning and Council. Because if there's an issue, then people feel they can come before council. And I asked council to correct me on this, but I think we should be in the loop on that as well, too. Council and the Director of Planning
Thank you.
be included in that.
Planner Russell is just conferring with Director Spagnell, so we'll wait a second. Director Spagnell?
Mayor Allen, thank you, through you to Councilor Ritchie. The pre-consultation process for the OP, the pre-consultation process that's being suggested as part of this official plan amendment process is really something that provides powers to the municipality to determine, or staff to determine, what are complete applications. Generally speaking, council does not sit on or weigh in on pre-consultations because that's a precursor to any formal application coming into this council. Council would see the application once it's complete based on all the necessary information which is outlined in the official plan. And it's up to staff to determine through those requirements of the official plan whether or not an application is complete. So I think taking Councilor Ritchie's comments into account, if there's the necessity for maybe more spelled out guidelines as to when pre-consultation would be required as part of the policy, maybe that might be the better way to go about it. If council sees fit where leaving things up to the discretion of a staff member might not be what council's looking for. So what staff can look at is potential policy to provide guidance as to when minor applications may not require a formal pre-consultation. At least that way there, it's spelled out in a policy rather than leaving it at the discretion of staff. And staff can work on that.
That's fine, Councilor Ritchie, is that what I'm...
That'll do. 10-4.
Councilor Hannah?
The chair to Director of Planning, appreciate your response. I've received over the years phone calls and had interviews with developers. And when they contact me, they tell me that they have met with township staff, our CAO, or former CAO, and they were told by our township staff to contact me. I don't have a problem with that. That's a service that I think we as council should be prepared to apply or supply to folks, but it would be nice if possible if staff would let us know ahead of a time that we're going to be contacted and what that person's looking for and maybe what the township's position is, so we're all on the same page. So I'm just throwing that out there, and I would appreciate it in the future. If that happens, you could let us know.
Director Spagnell?
Thank you, Mayor Allen. I think the first thing is, it's usually the developers who ask whether or not they should contact the ward councillor or the mayor or the deputy mayor. Typically, staff will direct developers to either go by way of a preliminary development application so that it is brought before council and all the information is brought before council. But I would say that as a normal matter of course, staff doesn't necessarily direct developers to contact councillors for applications. That's really at their own discretion, and really if they feel they need to contact a councillor, then we're not going to tell them not to. With respect to positions on specific applications, usually through the pre-consultation process, what it does is it provides the opportunity for developers to come forward and kick tires to see what may pass the policy test as a first brush with staff. Sometimes what happens is we receive multiple renditions and multiple proposals for those applications. So even to let council know as to what was discussed, or particular council members as to what was discussed on a preliminary development or on a pre-consultation basis, might be misleading, because an application that's submitted could be totally different than what was originally brought forward. So that's why in a lot of ways, the pre-consultation process is really intended to give the developer the opportunity to pick staff's brain about, from a policy standpoint, what can hold up against the test under the provincial policies and the growth management strategy and the county official plans and the township official plans. And at the end of the day, if the developers don't want to take staff's advice, they don't, and they come in with their applications as they see fit. But really, it is the preliminary process for them to figure out what they need to apply and what they need to have a complete application. So my only concern with that is that if the application changes, it might not be the most accurate information based on the applications that are actually submitted in for council's review.
Okay. Further-
Follow up?
Yes, follow up.
Thank you. I'm not suggesting we should hear about all of the applications, but just the ones where you believe or you understand the developer, the applicant may be contacting us. And I guess I'm just suggesting that it would be, generally what they want to know is if they come forward with a certain plan, whether we would agree to it or object to it. And that's basically the general question that we receive, or I receive when they contact me. So if you know they're going to come and visit me or want to talk to me, I would appreciate knowing in advance. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Councillor Cabral?
Thank you. Through the chair, I guess, to Director Spagnell, just this one section here where it speaks to the public, statutory public meeting. Do you have any idea when this might take place?
Director Spagnell?
Thank you, Mayor Allen. Through to Councillor Cabral. Today represents the statutory public meeting for the official plan as it relates to updating this specific section. So that's why where staff is receiving comments from council, we can take it back and we can adjust the policy to reflect council's comments or any members of the public who might have an issue or a concern or something to offer.
Thank you. Thank you for attending the public meeting with respect to this proposed official plan amendment and showing interest in this matter. May I have a mover and seconder to adjourn the public meeting? Councillor Cabral, Deputy Mayor Coghlan. That this public meeting of council held under sections 17, 21, and 34 of the Planning Act, ZB 219-008, by Rudy Taylor of Heacock and Associates on behalf of J and M Hummelink, ZB 219-009 by Scott Fitzgerald on behalf of S&C Wizotsky, and official plan amendment initiated by the Township of Springwater applications does now adjourn at 6:48 p.m. All those in favor? Carried. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the zoning bylaw of Matthew Hummelink? Deputy Mayor Coghlan and Councillor Moore. that council, having held a public meeting in accordance with Section 34 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, P13 as amended on a zoning bylaw amendment application ZB 219-008 by Rudy Taylor of Heacock and Associates on behalf of Jeremiah and Matthew Hummelink, having noted correspondence and input received, direct that the application be approved and that the appropriate documents be submitted to council for consideration. All those in favor? Carried. And a mover and a seconder for the Rizotsi matter, Deputy Mayor Coughlin, Councillor Ritchie. That council, having held a public meeting in accordance with Section 34 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, P13 as amended on a zoning bylaw amendment application ZB 219-009 by Scott Fitzgerald on behalf of Sasha and Claudia Wazotsi, having noted correspondence and input received, direct that the application be referred back to staff. All those in favor? Carried. And a mover and a seconder for the pre-consultation process, Councillor Moore, Councillor Chapman, that council, having held a public meeting in accordance with sections 17 and 21 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, P13 as amended on official plan amendment initiated by the Township of Springwater, having noted correspondence and input received, directed the application be referred back to staff. Those in favor? Carried. And a mover and a seconder for the bylaw with respect to Hummelink. Deputy Mayor Coughlin, Councillor Ritchie, that the bylaws listed herein be signed and sealed by the Mayor and Clerk. 5000-297 ZB 219-008 re Hummelink. All those in favor? Carried. And the bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council, Deputy Mayor Coughlin, Councillor Chapman, that the bylaw 219-075 to confirm and adopt the proceedings of council at the special meeting held on September 23rd, 2019, listed herein be signed and sealed by the Mayor and Clerk. All those in favor? Carried. And adjournment. Councillor Cabral, Deputy Mayor Coughlin, that the special meeting of the Township of Springwater does now adjourn at 6:57 p.m. to meet again a regular meeting on October 2nd, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. in the Council Chambers, Admin Center, Adminising. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you.